everyone, and welcome to another episode of 1923 Main Street.
Home of everything to do with Disney travel in style. We are your hosts.
I am Mike Bello-Braddock.
And I'm Amelia Bello-Braddock. And today, if matching shirts aren't for you, there is a better way to theme your wardrobe for a Disney vacation.
Or, in my words, forget matching shirts. I mean, I'm not a matching shirts fan, but I am a fan of having fun with fashion and style on Disney vacations, or at least appreciating those who do.
I think there's a time and a place for matching shirts, but I also think it's fun to have more options, more ways to kind of keep the wardrobe exciting without it being matching shirts, because personally they're not for me, but there's a lot of different ways you can go about sort of theming it and making it fun.
Yeah, what I don't mind, which we did talk about on a past episode, is matching shirts that don't match, sort of themed shirts. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's a discussion that we had previously, so look back for that, or maybe I'll link to it in the show notes.
And I do understand, especially for those large groups of people that need to be kept together, it's for safety purposes. I understand, of course. And if it's like young families, I have nothing against them. They're just not something I would wear, but that doesn't mean that I like to have a boring wardrobe all the time either.
So today, we're going to talk about a super fun way that you can take a different approach to theming your fashion and style to your Disney vacation. And what I like about this one is it's not just about the style, because this whole approach goes right into your plans. In other words, it's theming what you do or something that's important to you about your vacation with your clothes.
Yeah. And I think there's a couple ways to go about this. Of course, you can try to, if you go a lot and you want to keep things interesting, there is always the opportunity to theme an entire vacation and do more events that focus on that theme this time and then a different thing next time, and then base all of your outfits on the trip sort of around that theme. But additionally, if you're going in a group, you can each sort of pick a different theme or a different character that you want to kind of embody in a way that's not necessarily Disney bounding, that's a little bit more event based and a little bit more niche in the outfits, but still has some of that magic to it.
So let's talk about some real life examples so you're going, what the heck are they talking about? This idea came to me many, many years ago. I used to sell Disney travel. I was a Disney travel agent, and I came up with this idea at the time because what would happen is there'd be a family, and let's say there was a young daughter and she loved Cinderella. So they would ask me all the things. So we would book them into Cinderella's Royal Table or 1900 Park Fair. At that time, the Princess Cavalcade in the Grand Floridian was happening with Cinderella. They do a Cinderella meet and greet. So I said, well, why don't you come up with theming where, of course, your daughter's going to wear a Cinderella gown, but you can all wear clothes that are sort of inspired by that, and it becomes a part of your vacation where it's themed in that way.
Yeah. And then, I have to be honest, especially when you have little kids or just controlling kids, exhibit A being myself, a lot of the time your vacation starts to become themed around their interests or their favorite, Disney franchise, whatever that may be, Star Wars, even Marvel or Toy Story or whatever, whatnot, princesses. And so kind of dressing around that and adding that extra layer sort of makes it fun for the whole family.
And they don't all have to be the same. So they can be in a gown, you could be in a t-shirt, but they're all tied together by this, in this case example, Cinderella theme. And I'll tell you that other people and cast members do notice when you do stuff like that, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I like it so much more than just 12 people wearing the same shirt with the Disney text font on it.
And sometimes, not always, but on the off chance some of these cast members have extra magical powers.
Oh, yes.
You might get a little bit extra magic on your vacation due to it.
So this princess one, just for example, you could really do with any princess, right? If it's Ariel and you're meeting Ariel, or you're meeting Belle, then you go to Enchanted Tales with Belle, and you're meeting Belle, and Belle is often at Cinderella's Royal Table or at Epcot as well. So sort of tune it to the park and the princess in this case.
So how do we actually theme it?
Well, this fashion approach starts with doing something. So there's an event or something, a character or a storyline that someone in your family or your whole family loves, and then you theme your fashion around that, right?
Yeah.
So it's fun to pack and think of, what am I going to wear? When you said Disney bounding, it's a little bit like that.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, how do we tangibly do it? I mean, the first thing, most obviously, color. Like every key character or key franchise has sort of colors that are more relevant. So obviously, right away, even if you just have sort of colors, if you're going princesses, even some of the like lines of dresses or shirts are interesting to look at. Like if you're going for Jasmine, maybe you want to have more of like a two-piece ensemble. Cinderella could be like a blue sundress, like little things like that that are sort of reminiscent of your theme without hitting it on the nose. Having little, like if you want to theme it also, a lot of the times there's niche symbols, like with Toy Story, it might be the clouds, or with Cinderella, it could be the slipper. If you want to have like earrings or a necklace or I don't know, even cufflinks.
I think that's the fun of this, because you have to put in a little thought to get creative.
Exactly.
But the more thought you put in, the more fun it is when you're packing, right? It gets the kids involved and so on. You know, but when we were talking about this before we started recording this, Amelia and I, she said, or maybe a group of women could go as princesses, each a different one. And it reminded me of the Big Bang Theory episode where Penny, Amy, and Bernadette went to Disneyland. And they were fighting over who got to be which princess.
I was thinking more like teenage girls in different colored tops, but like that works too.
So we talked a little bit. Let's give you some ideas. So just the point of this episode is to give you this packing and style strategy and then give you some ideas for how you might do it. So we talked about princesses. That one's sort of obvious, but there's a twist, another one. And let's go to Disneyland for this one. Let's say you want to do Tiana, but really you want to do 1920s New Orleans.
That's what I'm thinking. It's also based on like the time period and the setting of whatever story, franchise, character. The background is sort of where you can pull from to sort of fit yourself into the story without being like, I am X character.
And the thing is to make sure you do things around it. So let's say that case you'd want to go on, you want to meet Tiana. So you want to do a Tiana meet and greet when you're wearing whatever your family's wearing. Tiana's Bayou Adventure opening this year at Disneyland. And then you want to go dine at Tiana's Palace. We're looking forward to that ourselves. So you can do a bunch of Tiana-related 1920s New Orleans. It's a whole New Orleans square. You can have a lot of fun with photos doing this, too, at Disneyland.
Yeah.
And Disney World soon, too, when they get a little bit more open.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, of course, we're focusing a lot on princesses because I think that's one of the more common draws, especially with little girls and just people in general. Princesses are a very like magical, very Disney-esque thing, but there's a lot of other ways you can do it. For example, the whole animal theme. If you stay at Animal Kingdom, you eat at restaurants there, maybe you do like a safari or a special tour to see the animals, and you want to kind of incorporate a bit more of that. Maybe you have some animal print on you. Maybe you have more like exploring clothing options, sort of not wilderness explorer, but almost on the nose of that sort of thing.
Well, it could be a blend of those. You know, some family members could be an animal prince. We sell a few for that very reason. Some could be their wilderness explorers. Some could be from Up. But you want to get together, wear those things in Animal Kingdom Park. Sure, dine at Tusker House. Go on Kilimanjaro safaris. You're going to get noticed and complimented and appreciated for the effort you put in for little extra magic, both from guests and cast members. I mean, I love the Animal Kingdom one because it's not as direct. It gives you a lot of leeway. I mean, you can make it direct. I mean, I wouldn't consider Pandora, for example, to be part of that, personally. I'd choose a more animal-oriented theme, at least. But let's talk about another one, Toy Story Land.
Yeah, I think Toy Story is such a cute way to do this.
That's a great one, and there's so much to Toy Story, even amongst all the different toys. Obviously, in the land, you can dine at Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, which we loved.
I think even dressing up as your favorite childhood toy, not even a part of the Toy Story movie, just for yourself, dressing up as a toy, I think that'd be really cute. Or dressing up like Barbie's really popular like now. Just little things that they're still Toy Story, but they're not necessarily on the nose. I'm Woody. I'm just, if that's your thing, totally. But there's other ways to do it. There's many different things for all kinds of people that are more interested or less interested in like dressing up for Disney.
So we hope we're really starting to give you that creative juice idea. There's so much you can do to get just creative beyond matching shirts that we buy from Etsy, right? And then if you want to go a little bit more obvious, a lot of people do this already, is Star Wars theming, right? I mean, that's pretty straightforward, but still fun because I got to be honest, I don't see a ton of that in Galaxy's Edge.
I always appreciate seeing Star Wars themed people in Galaxy's Edge, and I know it's hot, and to be fair, I'm not Star Wars themed.
Well, you don't have to
But-
go in full costume, as you said.
Yeah, but I think it does sort of take me out of Galaxy's Edge a lot of the time when everyone, including myself, I'm completely guilty of this, are just walking around in whatever. It could be very cute, but it's not. The planet and the scenery of Galaxy's Edge is so well done. And then there's like all these guests walking around, on their phones. We're checking the app. We're booking dining reservations. We're doing whatever we're doing. We're on social media.
The challenge of trying, this is what I think was part of the collapse of Galactic Star Cruiser, among other things, is the challenge of trying to be immersive when you got a bunch of people, a bunch of tourists with iPhones just ruining it for everybody, right? So
to be fair to them, I don't have a solution.
but still,
I'm just chatting.
That aside, it is super fun to put some thought into it and head to Galaxy's Edge in your themed outfit. And when the Empire, whoever that guy is, the Emperor, who's always, that's one of my favorite parts there, when he's out with some stormtroopers grilling people.
That's true.
He will notice you for sure.
Yeah, and
right?
I also have to say, if you have kids that want to say hi to like Baby Yoda, the Mandalorian, if they're dressed up in costume, if they're in that vibe, that energy, he will probably have a higher chance of going over to talk to them if they're looking enthusiastic.
Yeah, so I like the idea in this where the kids, it's easier to costume the kids, whether it's princesses,
easier to costume
but then
kids.
the rest of the family it's sort of in bounding theme. And we did this once, if you remember, way back when they had the Star Wars tour, which was awesome at Hollywood Studios. We sort of did it this way. I just had a white t-shirt, but it was the Stormtrooper t-shirt. And if you recall, you were in a C-3PO dress.
Oh, yeah.
And then we met Chewbacca, and he got into it with me, remember? He was mad that I was wearing a Stormtrooper shirt. It was all in good fun, but
That's true.
again, he noticed. You were on his team. I was the enemy, and it was sort of fun because we were in the spirit.
Yeah, the cast members definitely like to get involved. If you show like energy, if you show enthusiasm for really anything, a lot of the time the cast members like to sort of give that enthusiasm back to you. So it's just fun. For me personally, I just tend to be more extra, especially when it comes to fashion. I'll always opt to try to do something with the look. I'm usually very calculated about that. So this is just like some of my little process things that you can interpret, take for your own franchises. There's so many things that you can do based on whatever you're personally into. There's so many different options. I think it's just cool to think about.
Yeah, so we hope we've inspired you to start thinking of better ways to theme your wardrobe and have some fun packing. And really, this is, Disneyland, Disney World, Disneyland, Paris, doesn't matter where you go. You got a whole bunch of different ideas for Tokyo Disney Sea or in China. So you can really have fun with this anywhere, and the world's your oyster. Think of the parks. Think what you like. I always like to start with, obviously, what you like and or things you're going to do, and then sort of work around that. You could have a couple of them on one trip easily, no problem.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the whole trip. Everybody's doing like this time period, this princess. Obviously, that's a bit excessive. But, even just for like a day or for an event, just kind of getting everyone into it. Always a fun time.
Could be Polynesian themed, right? If you're hanging around the hotel.
There you go.
Doing breakfast there or something. Anyway, There you have it. Another fun Disney fashion and style tip for you this week. We hope you enjoyed it. Hope it gets you thinking. We always love to do this ourselves, so we wanted to share that with you. So thanks as always for listening. Follow along on social media at 1923 Main Street. Visit us at 1923mainstreet.com. We'll see you again next week, and have a magical day.
Bye-bye.